who are now watching Demish.
Welcome to the first episode of Mario Kart Origins Refueled. This series will cover the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC, fan games such as Custom Track Grand Prix Revolution, and any other surprises along the way, such as a new game or Mario Kart Tour completely restructuring. And for the first episode, we have a complete surprise. In March of 2021, nearly 2 years ago, I covered cancelled and lost Mario Kart games. This included things such as the notorious Virtual Boy Mario Kart, and even a pitch for Mario Kart on Tesla. Considering the latter was only an idea, and how secure Nintendo is over their prototypes, it's highly unlikely we'll ever see those games, but out of the games I covered, there was a glimmer of hope for one of them to see the light of day. The chances of that game resurfacing were exponentially large. Extra large. Information about Mario Kart Extra Large first surfaced as early as 2015. A video was uploaded showcasing a never-before-seen Mario Kart game running on the Game Boy Advance. Now, usually when this happens, the game ends up preserved. Usually when someone finds a prototype or other kinds of lost media, it's common etiquette to preserve it. What is lost becomes found. Unfortunately, Mario Kart Extra Large was in the hands of Stingy Steven for the longest time. This is a guy who apparently didn't have a lost and found bin at school, assuming he actually went to one. This dude has acquired dozens of never-before-seen prototypes, and they remain lost because he refuses to dump them. But with Mario Kart Extra Large, why did I have hope? For one, it was made by Daenerys Software Entertainment, a development studio founded by Manfred Trenz, a highly respected developer for the Commodore 64. With this knowledge, I tried contacting Daenerys. No luck. So then I asked a friend of mine, K&K, who does the excellent artwork for the channel, to try contacting them. He is German, and I thought maybe he'd have a better chance, since Daenerys is German. Nothing. It seemed all hope was lost. That is, until now. Forest of Illusion has preserved the long-awaited Mario Kart Extra Large. While I did think the game would eventually be preserved, I had no idea how soon or late it would be. But thankfully, it was sooner than later. What this means is now anyone has a chance to play it. I've been wanting to play Mario Kart XXL for the longest, so the question is, what exactly is Mario Kart XXL, and how is the game itself? Starting up Mario Kart Extra Large, you're greeted to a menu with artwork from Mario Kart Double Dash, or should I say Single Dash, considering there's only one character per kart. The rest of the characters are photoshopped out, albeit sloppily enough to where you can get a glimpse of Luigi's leg. Dang, this game was nearly 2 decades before National Leg Strap Day was even a thing. Ahead of the times, Luigi. You have 2 options, demo and play. Since demo was the first option, we'll be taking a look at that first. The demo for Mario Kart XXL showcases a game similar to how a Mario Kart replay would showcase a race. It's essentially no different than a video, considering there is no interactivity, but if anything, it showcases what Mario Kart XXL is truly capable of. You'll see many different angles of a race, and considering how smooth it is, it's hard to believe it's on a Game Boy Advance, because if Game Boy Advance video is anything to go by, this isn't exactly the best way to watch videos. It is, however, a great way to play games, so let's play the game itself and see what it's about. Mario Kart Extra Large is a racing game. The only Mario Kart related thing I can think of that isn't is something like Kart Fighter or a Mario Kart Monopoly, but unlike that game, Mario Kart Extra Large was an actual project pitched to Nintendo and not a bootleg. The controls are exactly what you'd expect. You move Mario with the D-pad, accelerate with A, and reverse with B. But what's kinda cool is that you can move and accelerate at once by pressing up on the D-pad. Vice versa if you want to reverse and move. But considering Mario Kart isn't a series that's ever had complicated controls, you'll probably go for the standard D-pad to move and A to accelerate scheme. The overall control is excellent. The main issue I have with Mario Kart Super Circuit are the controls. Because it's a Mode 7 racing game, there's a lack of 3D. You're getting the illusion of it, and to an extent it can work, but the problem is you don't get a good perception of depth. It can be very hard to tell when to turn, which is why the directional arrows will appear frequently. Though funnily enough, other Game Boy Advance racing games such as Crash Nitro Kart and Banjo Pilot control fine despite being Mode 7. Those games are exponentially better than Super Circuit simply due to the controls. Mario Kart XXL, on the other hand, is the best controlling racing game on the Game Boy Advance I've ever played, and there's likely a reason for it. Mario Kart XXL showcases true 3D rendering on the Game Boy Advance. Taking a look at Mario, he might look a bit strange, but you have to keep in mind, the Game Boy Advance was rather limited. What Super Circuit did was have sprites for the karts, and they look pretty good, but we have actual pre-rendered graphics here. Remember how I said the depth perception in Super Circuit would often throw me off? That is not the case in Mario Kart XXL. By pressing L, you can move the camera behind Mario, you can have the camera at the standard Mario Kart angle, or go all the way and get a bird's eye view. All I have to say, seeing the classic Peach circuit take place over a beach is really cool. And if you go off-road, Mario will plunge into the water, and you get a really great sense of depth while it's happening. Overall, Mario Kart XXL is a technical marvel for the Game Boy Advance. I'm honestly shocked it's able to handle something like this. But a technical marvel is all Mario Kart XXL is. If you were expecting a long-lost Mario Kart game with Koopa Kid and Mushbird as playable characters and tracks based on outer space, that's not what this is. It is merely just a tech demo showcasing the true potential of the Game Boy Advance. In fact, it wasn't even originally Mario Kart. Manfred Trends developed R3D Demo V1 beforehand in 2001, if the title screen's anything to go by. This features the same rotational layers and impressive 3D Mario Kart XXL has, but the theming is just standard racing with a monster truck and a race car. It's impressive nonetheless, and is close to console quality. I haven't stressed enough how impressive Mario Kart XXL truly is. By no means is it a full-on Mario Kart. It's a tech demo, which is what I expected it to be. But considering how insane the technology used is here, why on earth did Nintendo turn Daenerys down? Nintendo has historically been known to make bad decisions, but not turning down development partners. Nintendo has fully embraced secondary developers, and turning down something like this is like Nickelodeon turning down Adventure Time for Fanboy and Chum Chum. So the question is, why would they? Looking at the circumstances surrounding Mario Kart XXL, I don't even need to explain why Nintendo didn't pick it up, because one sound says everything. It's kinda hard to believe, but the Nintendo DS released in 2004 as well. There's often the misinformed statement saying Nintendo was never about power, but the DS was an absolute powerhouse for handhelds at the time. It's capable of true 3D, providing console-like experiences on the go. Mario Kart DS is a great example of that, hence why there wasn't really a need for Mario Kart XXL. I'm sure if the demo was made earlier, like 2002, Nintendo might have picked it up. Now to be fair, the demo only consists of Mario driving along the racetrack with no opponents or items, and whether or not the Game Boy Advance could handle a full-on Mario Kart game like this, I'm not sure of, but the most insane part of the story is the actual outcome. Daenerys Entertainment Software couldn't get a license for Mario Kart. What they did get the license for, and I kid you not, was Crazy Frog. In case you're unaware of who Crazy Frog is, he was a popular character in the mid-2000s designed to sell ringtones. He was also known for being very annoying, and by the way, he has visible junk. Getting a license to make a game based on Crazy Frog is quite literally the bottom of the barrel. I could forgive the Crazy Frog theming if the game was actually good. They could have used the engine of R3D Demo V1 for this game, but they opted for one of the clunkiest Mode 7 racing games I've ever played. I don't get it! They already have the engine for a fully 3D racing game right there! Yet they decided to go back to Mode 7. I just don't understand it. And by the way, this is not only the worst racing game I've played on the Game Boy Advance, but one of the worst games I've ever played. It's a horrible game, and really would make you question the quality of anything Daenerys would make. But as Hard for Games said, if they had the budget from Nintendo as well as help from them for Mario Kart, we could have gotten something truly special. But in the end, Mario Kart XXL is a very cool tech demo, and I get the uttermost joy knowing Stingy Steven is foaming at the mouth watching everyone play his precious game. It definitely would have been cool to see as a full game, even if it were just something like an expansion of R3D Demo V1, or even if the technology was used for Crazy Frog Racer, could you imagine just saying, one of the most technically impressive games on the Game Boy Advance is Crazy Frog Racer? Now that would be hilarious. So there you have it. This is what Mario Kart Extra Extra Large is all about. If you've played it, I'm curious to know what you think. Anyways, thanks for watching, and keep calm and Dada on.